In this video, I've got 20 questions for couples that I really think every relationship would benefit from. I'm a couples therapist here in Los Angeles, and I started this channel to share some relationship advice and the things that I've learned from nearly a decade of working with parents, families, and couples with anyone that wants to hear it. So if you're interested in learning more or want some of the tips, tricks, and tools on growing great relationships, I would really appreciate it if you hit follow or subscribe or just share this with someone you know that would appreciate it. So I've got these 20 questions for couples spread over in 4 categories for you that I think will help couples who have been together for any length of time. I'm going to give you the questions one at a time, along with a little bit of a breakdown of why it's important and what I would want each of you to say in your answers. Before we dive in, there are some skills that you have to get good on before this becomes really effective and powerful. Number 1, active listening. You've got to learn how to listen. And there's a handout and a blog post on my website that you should really check out. It's going to teach you how you listen to someone. Most often I find that couples are listening to respond to each other when they really should be listening to understand each other. The second skill that you really must know is I statements. You've got to learn how to talk effectively from your feeling state rather than an intellectual base, or even worse, using accusations about what you did and your behaviors. You always want to talk from the I position to lower defensiveness and make sure that communication is effective. Also, when you're using I statements, you're using feeling statements, and emotional intimacy is all about talking about your feelings. So do me a favor and get good at using your I statements. I also want to make a plug for my 7-day relationship rescue PDF. It's 7 of the best skills that I think couples need, and it's free to download now from my website. And it's filled with very interesting, very colorful activities that you and your partner can do to improve your relationship. So over the years of doing couples therapy, I've noticed a pattern that seems to occur in some couples. And it's something like the longer a couple's been together, the less likely they are to be curious about each other. Like the time spent gets traded in for familiarity. And when that happens, there's always this slow and gradual decrease in emotional connection. So these questions are hopefully going to turn that pattern around and bring you back closer to each other. And my hope is that these questions might refuel a sense of discovery and create a space for fascination or surprise so that you can keep that intimacy alive in your relationship for longer. So this first set is about one of my favorite subjects, and it's all about emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy goes beyond physical closeness. It's about maintaining emotional connection and understanding each other's needs. Most importantly, being able to take risks and be vulnerable with each other. The ultimate layer of emotional intimacy is to be able to share feelings with each other, to go towards each other without fear of a blow up or being dumped or generally just defensiveness. And that is a really big ask of anyone. So this level of emotional intimacy takes practice and time. So go easy with these. Question 1, when do you feel most loved by me in our relationship, and how can we create more of that? Sometimes we think we know when our partner feels loved and supported by us, but it turns out that there are often things to be learned by asking this question. And the answer changes over time. So one partner might really appreciate you dropping the kids off at school and feel loved and supported when you do that one week, but might love getting a surprise bunch of flowers the following week. Question 2, what are some of the signs that make you think we have a healthy relationship? This question has 2 purposes. 1, you're going to get feedback on what's working with you. But number 2, you're learning about what generally your partner thinks of as being a healthy relationship. Question 3, when you're feeling upset or stressed, what's the best thing I can do for you? When someone is really upset, there's an instinct either to go in and hug them or fix the problem and make them feel better. And that's always driven by our own anxiety or our desire to not see someone that we love or care about be upset. But the best thing you can do is ask what they need rather than assume. And this question is getting ahead of you making assumptions by asking directly ahead of time. Question 4, when we met, what did you not want me to find out about you? This is a little cheeky question that forces someone to be quite vulnerable by getting them to share with you what they were scared of you knowing. Whatever they say for this, remember it's important that you don't overreact, assuming that you already know. Remember, they're being really vulnerable right now, so go easy on them. And question 5, what is something that you wish we could do more often together, realistic or not so realistic? Whenever a therapist asks you a question about a wish, they're trying to understand your fantasies and desires. So an answer of I want to travel around the world with you in a yacht might suggest someone wanting more time with you. Or I wish we could get a babysitter more often might indicate that your partner needs help getting space from the kids. So listen to the answer at the surface layer, but also try and imagine what the need is there that's in the fantasy. This next set of questions is inspired by John and Julie Gottman, who are renowned for their really extensive research on what makes relationships thrive. They found that couples who cultivate shared meaning and experience enjoy a richer, more fulfilling relationship because they share common goals and dreams and values. So this concept goes beyond daily interactions and touches on like the larger framework of a couple's life together. It talks about traditions and roles and rituals. So these questions are super important for the long-term longevity of your relationship. 1, what are some of the rituals that we have as a couple that mean a lot to you? Or what are the ones in the past that we've had that meant a lot to you? So this question encourages your partner to think back on rituals that you may have dropped that you could bring back, or reflect on the small little things that you do that are special to them. And if there's no answer to this, well, time to start making some little rituals. Question 2, how can we turn mundane tasks like running errands into enjoyable experiences together? Life just gets so busy, and I know that most people seeing this video won't actually do any of these questions because there's work and there's family and there's kids and a million other things. So I really like this question because it might help making things that you've got to do anyway more of a source of connection. So be correct. Question 3, what can I do more of to help us feel renewed, refreshed when we're feeling burned out or fatigued? So just the other week, I had a couple in my office who were blown away by my brilliant suggestion that they have a staycation. I was just listening to how exhausted and run down they were, so I really didn't think I was contributing much by saying the obvious, but they really needed to find a way to reconnect that didn't involve a vacation or travel. My contribution wasn't particularly innovative or creative, but they needed to hear it and they need to do it. Sometimes questions like this will really help you prioritize. What would you say your top 5 values are? Now, I don't expect many people will be able to list these off when asked. We simply just don't take the time to think about what we stand for or create a guiding set of principles. But as a couple, it's good to know what drives your partner and how much overlap there is between each of your individual values. And of course, you can create a set of values for your relationship or your family too, and I highly suggest you do that. Question 5, what would you like to accomplish with me or our family or our relationship in the next 5 years? This is all about creating that shared vision of the future. Is it more kids? Is it less work? Is it more travel? Success in a long-term relationship sometimes includes what you can work towards together, what you both want, and creating this fantasy about where your relationship is going. This next set of questions fall under the category of relationship awareness, which is all about understanding and respecting each other's personal space, preferences, boundaries. I think this is an essential subject for healthy relationships, particularly because we take these for granted and often make assumptions about what our partner needs and wants, when really intimacy is all about asking, how did your family handle conflicts or disagreements? And how does that shape the way that you approach conflict with me? So this question aims to uncover conflict resolution styles that we inherit from family and how that inheritance impacts your relationship. Now, ideally, if you don't like what you saw in your childhood, you change it and learn new skills. 2, what activities or hobbies do you enjoy doing on your own and which do you enjoy sharing with me? In asking this question, you're defining boundaries around yourself and boundaries around you as a couple, both really important to understand. What helps you stay fully present in our relationship? This is a question that's designed to get your partner to talk about what they need more of in order to be able to fully contribute to your relationship. It might be something really simple, might be nothing at all. What issues do you avoid talking about with me directly? Sometimes couples have a tendency to avoid conflict by venting to a colleague or family member when really the couple should be talking to each other. That's called a triangle. It's normal and not always healthy. So, this is a question to avoid triangles. What topics or feelings were not talked about in your family growing up? Unfortunately, our family of origin does have a lasting impact on us, and sometimes we carry the family rules that were either implicit or explicitly stated into our current relationship. So, this could be things like we're not allowed to talk about money, or we're not allowed to ask for what we need, or not being able to express anger. Knowing what rules were existent in your childhood means that you can challenge them and change them in your current relationship. This final section is filed under weekly check in questions. Regular check ins can help maintain a strong connection and address any issues before they become significant problems and you end up in my office. It also helps you get organized. So think about the number of meetings you have in your job to get organized and share information and compare that to how many you have in your relationship. We just don't organize the same way in our romantic lives as we do in a professional setting. So these questions are designed to be asked weekly, and the goal is to help your relationship thrive and be more organized and be more effective. Question one: what is something from this week that we could or should do more often together? I'd like to get you reflecting on positive experiences and activities that you had during the week. It's a great way to get feedback on what worked well in your relationship and what you can do more of. Question two: when this week did you feel closest to me? So this question helps partners recognize and recreate moments of closeness and emotional connection. It gives you direct insight into what actions or moments made your partner feel most connected to you. Why wouldn't you want that feedback? Question three: what do you need even more of from me this week? So you're getting right to the point here and asking what your partner needs in terms of support and care in the week ahead. It can be practical, it can be emotional, but either way, it provides you this clear path to be more supportive. Four: how would you rank our communication this week on a scale of 1 to 10? So this question allows you to assess how well you think you communicated with each other. It opens up a conversation about what worked, what didn't, and how you can improve talking to each other in the week. What's going to be really interesting is if you have different answers for the same question, like your partner thought you were a 10 out of 10 and you thought you were a 3. That's got to be unpacked and explored and understood so that you can improve your communication. Question 5: is there anything unresolved or that has left you with questions or uncertainty from last week that we should or could address right now? So this question is ensuring that any lingering issues or uncertainties are addressed promptly. An issue that I see often in my practice is that couples never really resolve conflict. And when that doesn't happen, it means that you're not finding solutions, you're not working together, you're not resolving things, and you're not healing past pains. So this is a proactive way to clear the air and prevent small issues from growing into bigger problems. It's kind of forcing you to find solutions or compromises or resolving issues. So remember, these questions are all about making small, consistent efforts to be curious about your partner. And over time, if you keep doing anything like this regularly, it's going to build a healthier, stronger connection between both of you.